Happy Friday. Today, I sat down and I had a conversation with God. I was talking to my coach yesterday, my life coach, and I was sharing with her my frustrations about this next journey in my life and my indecisiveness and my waffling and just all of it. I was really annoyed with it, and I really desired decisiveness and closure and understanding and boldness and all that. And she gave me a challenge. She said, bear your soul out. What if you were to look into the heavens and talk to the Heavenly Father, the multiverse, the universe? What would you say? What would you ask? Like, voice all your frustrations, ask all your questions, and be done with it. So I wrote some and I voice memoed some, and today during lunchtime I sat down in the car and it's facing like this big sky and this grass land, and I looked into the heavens and I asked the Heavenly Father, I asked the multiverse, I asked the spiritual goddess of my meditation teacher, Kuan Yin, and I asked her, like, help. Before I started pouring my heart out and asking all these questions, I sat in gratitude and I sat in thankfulness, and I thought about how grateful I was for all this love that I have received all this time. Like, when I was in the depths of despair, when I was frustrated beyond belief, when I was so lost that I didn't know what my next step was, whether I should stay in Arizona or move back to Texas, whether I should break off relationships, like, I was struggling so much. And every time in the midst of all this, I've always known that I was always loved and supported. And it's funny because usually in the depths of my despair, usually when I'm so frustrated beyond belief, usually when I don't know how things are going, is when usually I'll have a heartfelt, tear-drenched conversation with God. And I was like, like, I shouldn't wait for it to come to this. Like, how many of us should be or could be having conversations with God, with our multiverse, with our universe, with Kuan Yin, with Jesus, with any spiritual leader that resonates with us? Like, why do we wait until, like, it's so terrible, it's so sad for us to, I lost the connection on this Facebook side. Let's try again. Talk with God today. Let's try again. And so, like I was saying, like, why do we wait till, like, the we're at rock bottom? Why do we wait till we're, like, on our deathbed? Why do we wait until like we wait until we get into this crises type of situation before we bare our soul and have this heartfelt conversation with God? Like, why do we do this to ourselves? And I said to myself when I was talking to God, I said, we should probably not to do this. Like, I and other people, other humans, probably could stand to have conversations with God a little bit more often than not, and not waiting until things are out of control or we're at our wits' end, we're in deep frustration before we sit down and have a conversation with God. And if you've ever read, like, Conversations with God, there's, like, this trilogy. I forgot the name of the guy that wrote the book, but he would like write out these conversations with God, and he would write back and forth what he heard. And I didn't necessarily hear anything, but I definitely felt like I already knew the answers. And so some of the questions I asked were, well, first I thanked God, you know, in the multiverse, in my, in Kuan Yin, and, you know, I was filled with tears and so much gratitude, and I thank them for my family and my parents and my life coach and my wonderful kids and all the people I'm surrounded with, just the beautiful souls I interact with. And I thanked, and after my thanking, my gratitude, I thank them for my my brain and my soul's desire to truly understand. And then I started asking my questions, and I started voicing my frustrations. And I wanted to know if this next path in my life, this next step, was the right path, if it was the thing to do. And then I realized, oh, like, you know, like a person that creates the game, you know, all the creators of a game, like they already know all the possible combinations of the game, and they're not telling you what's the right way, what's the wrong way. In fact, there is no right way and wrong way. There's a million different, there's an infinite combination of possibilities that you could take to play the game of life. And we think like how do I make sure I take the right path? How do I make sure like I play the right game? Like how do I, you know, and I realized there's no right or wrong answer. Like it's like, what would you like to experience? What would you like to choose? What would you like to create? Because that is the game. That is the schoolroom of Earth. That is the purpose coming here in this human form, to learn and to expand and grow and to experience. Like you get to choose how it goes. And I was just like, and then and then I asked, well, if I asked, why do I, you know, I asked like why things happen the way they happen. And I say, I understand and I get that everything is divine timing, everything is always on purpose, and it's so perfect. And I asked, you know, yesterday my husband and I, we were talking, he was washing the dishes, and he asked me how I spent my time in these last few years. And he shared with me that he became a very good Excel, Microsoft Excel, which is an application you can use to do spreadsheets and graphs and pivot tables and functionalities and macros and build reports. Like it's a very powerful tool if you really, really learn how to use it. And so the last few years, he became extremely proficient at it. He could build a system from scratch because he said that's the last few years, that's how he spent his time. And Marie, thanks for watching. But if you keep getting cut off, I'm also on Instagram, so you can always catch me over there too, because the Facebook keeps going in and out. And I think I'll upload the iPod video too, in case you want to make sure you want to catch anything you missed in between. And I was just like why? He said, you know, I spent the last few years of my life like really honing my Excel skills. And he said, what did you do? And I thought about it, and I was venting my frustrations with God, and I said, did I waste my time? Like, what did I do? Should I have done that? And I realized if I got really good at Excel, like that wouldn't have been my thing. Like that wouldn't have helped me. That wouldn't make me who I am today. And I realized during that time, last few years, a lot of it was on health and fitness and mental health and emotional health and emotional agility and emotional strength and personal development and personal empowerment and accessing who I'm truly capable of being, hiring a life coach in my life, learning how to be a powerful life coach, learning how to help others live deeply meaningful, powerful lives. And I realized, oh my gosh, like the last few years, that's what I spent my time doing. And that was perfect. And it was exactly what was perfect for me. And my husband may have done the perfect thing with working on his Excel skills, but what was perfect for me was doing all this work that I did instead. And so then I realized, okay, so it wasn't a bad thing that I didn't get like become like this extreme guru at an Excel application. And then I asked, and I resisted, and I asked like I felt like I knew I was capable of so much. I felt like I knew that there was like, I felt like within us, we all have this power to be like superhumans, to be like the best version of ourselves, the most actualized version of ourselves, the most the version that is truly living and really being alive. And I asked God why I felt all this resistance, why I wasn't willing to drop my resistance, my fear, my doubt, the fakeness, the superficiality, the ego. Like, why didn't I just drop it? Like, why couldn't I just shed that coat like a butterfly in a cocoon and just leave it? And I felt the answer was, it was part of the human condition. It was part of being a human on this platform, this schoolroom of earth, and that was part of the experience. And I asked, like, why do I have to feel so scared? Like, what's with this fear? Like, F fear. Like, why does fear exist? And then I remembered vaguely that when Jesus was about to become crucified, he was so stressed out and he was under such a tremendous amount of fear that he was actually sweating blood. And he still proceeded anyways. And that's Jesus. Jesus was scared. And you would think, of all people, Jesus can't be scared. I mean, he's Jesus, right? And then I realized, but he was in a human form. Part of the human condition of being on this planet is dealing with fear and then proceeding anyways. It's like, it was part of the experience, it's part of the lesson, it's part of the soul's expansion, it's part of the soul's growth, is proceeding anyways amid the fear. And I guess it makes it that much more worthwhile. And then I asked him, or her, I asked the multiverse, I asked the Heavenly Father, what else did I ask? It was always perfect. You're never alone. You always have help. Oh, I asked to send me, I asked for help. I said, could you please send me some clues, some hints, some clarification on how to get my ass into the ski lift chair, how to get in line and do it. And thank you for sending me this amazing life coach named Lauren who operates the ski lift. Like, thank you. And I said, I just drag my feet. I have all this fear. I have this resistance. How do I bring myself to powerfully walk towards the line, to get in line, to sit my ass in the ski lift chair? Like, how do I do it? Can you give me some hints? Can you give me some clues? Like, you're always sending me help, and I know what there is to do is ask for help when I desire it and I need it and I want clarification or whatever it is. Like, it's always sent. It's whatever I manifest, it comes true. It always happens, and yet recently I felt like I've just been dragging my feet to death about it. And I got some clarity. I didn't quite understand how to get to the ski lift chair, but I realized that I got away from my meditation, I got away from my yoga practice, I got away from writing on a daily basis, either journaling or sharing on my platforms, and I forgot that when I upload my videos to Facebook or upload my videos to Instagram or upload my videos to YouTube, it was a way to preserve my soul's message and to write something, to share something either on a post or a blog or something. It was also kind of preserving that and building that and sharing my message. And I just became really lax about it. And I said, I think I should get back to it. And I was thinking, how do I get back to it? How do I do it? And I realized the thing to do was what I was already doing, which is get Ava to sleep in her crib or her own bed. I sleep in my own bed so that I can freely get up in the morning without her waking up. Because whenever I move and wake up, she gets up. So I set an intention. Today's the day where she starts her sleep training. And I have no idea how it's going to go, but you can bet I'll definitely set an intention and pray for help beforehand. But when I can sleep by myself and when I know that I won't disturb Ava is when I can wake up early and get things done. I used to wake up, meditate, exercise, write out my manifestations, maybe journal a little bit, reflect on yesterday, go to work, do my thing during lunch, meditate a little bit or write or something, come home, meditate some more, write, get dinner ready. Like, it was so productive. And maybe that's the way. Maybe that's the way to get into the ski lift chair. Maybe that's the way to share my message. That's the way to keep developing myself, keep honing my message, and I noticed that my life coach, she spends a lot of time writing and reflecting and journaling and thinking very deeply. And when she does that, and because she does that, my coaching sessions with her are highly effective because her thinking skills, her intuition is so deep and profound because she has spent so much of her time every single day practicing that skill. And I was asking, like, why don't I have a full book of clients, paying for my life coach services? Is probably because there's more work to be done, either work to be done in a different arena or more work to be done for me to truly be a powerful life coach for my clients. And that probably starts with deep reflection, writing, setting actual time aside to do this work that is really important. Because if I write well and I think well, then inevitably I start speaking well too. And I start using the words I wrote out slowly and then I can repeat them. Like I'll say, I desire to create and choose and live a life of infinite power, deep fulfillment, profound meaning with complete freedom and total abundance. Like, I say that to you easily, but it took me like days to kind of like write it out to see what I was trying to grapple at and set an intention for. And so writing is really powerful if you choose to write it. Journaling is really powerful if you choose to do it. So my moral of the day is sit down, bare your soul to the universe, to the Heavenly Father, to God, to the spiritual masters that resonate with you, and ask your questions. Sit down and have a deep, meaningful conversation, and you will be blessed with all these answers and all this clarity, and you'll be basking in all this love and enlightenment, and you will get so much clarity and peace and exhaustion. Like, I'm just done. I'm just spent. I'm ready to go to bed because it's been such a full, fulfilling, emotional, cleansing, cathartic, full of love kind of day. And it simply starts with you having a conversation with God. And God will give you all the answers. And it's amazing. It's amazing. Sit down and have a conversation with God. Right, Megan? And if you didn't already know, I'm a life coach. And if you love this video, please share it. I said to God that my goal, my manifestation is to share my message with millions and millions and millions of people. And that starts with sharing my message, one video, one share at a time. And yes, love talks with God. So good. And And it starts with you. It starts with you supporting me. It starts with you sharing my videos. It starts with you pouring out all this love. Thank you, Megan. Just like I pour all of this love through these videos to you. And it starts with me committing, right? Committing to sending out my message every day and building my base of viewers, reaching out to people each day, asking them to share my message, to like my page, to follow me, to build my base so that my word will get around. My soul-centered, soul-aligned, soul-expansive message will get around. And it starts there. So sit down, have a conversation with God. If you're looking for a life coach, reach out to me. And each day I keep getting more and more powerful. By the time you sign up to be my client, you're going to have like one of the best kick-ass coaches out there. And I send you love, light, profound clarity, and infinite possibility to create the life you desire to live that is completely aligned with your soul's expansion and growth. I don't care how you get to me, just get to me. Which means get to me if you're looking for a life coach. And that's it. Good night. Sending you lots of love. And here's to you living a soul elevated life. And I will see you tomorrow.